Hey folks, we are going to continue working on creature token production for the upcoming adventure that we're creating, Crystals of Mabar, for Eberron, character levels, 8th level, 8th level, 8th level, 8. Anyway, hey, we're going to do some artwork today, so give me a second here to check my signal. I'll go through my intro spiel, and then we'll get to work here for a couple hours. So if you're catching this after the live stream is over in the future, hello, future you. Welcome to the mix. You can skip forward a couple minutes and get past the intro once we actually dive into the artwork. But let's do a mic check here real quick. Dive into the artwork, but cool. And for everybody else that's here in the now with me on stream here presently, if this is your first time visiting the channel or if you just like to be here, hey, my name is Theurgy. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online. I've been focusing my attention on Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition for the past 5 years. I believe there's a slew of links in the description down below to other works that I've produced that are currently on the DMsGuild, and I wanted to continue working here with y'all with this new adventure that we're creating here. If you go and you click on any of those, you'll see that there's extensive previews for everything that I have published online, and this adventure will be no different. Most of those have additional assets that go with them, like tokens or like mana chips or like play mats, maps, and stuff like that. And this is also no different from that. There's probably, we got like maybe 15 some odd different maps, anywhere from 10 by 10 to 75 by 75 inch squares. We've got we're in the process of making like 30 some odd different creature tokens for the type of critters that you can run across. If you check earlier in the stream, maybe 15 episodes ago, we were creating NPC artwork for the different types of NPCs that could give you plot hooks and rewards and incentives to engage in this adventure, either as a one-shot or part of your ongoing campaign that you can check out. So yeah, we make a bunch of artwork. We illustrate it. When everything is done, you're going to see once the editing is done with this, we're going to start doing page fusion, where we take all the different chunks of the different sections and acts and locations of the adventure, and breaking them up into bite-sized ideas that we can put on a page along with a portion of whatever map is relevant to them, and just flesh that thing out. So it's a page turner, page by page, just go through the adventure to lead characters from the beginning all the way through the end. That's kind of how adventures are written. So we're going through that process as well. We're going to be beginning the design layout sort of adventure for Light of Zaraxis, the Spelljammer adventure that we modified using the Spelljammer combat and exploration mechanics that I stream in the mornings, Monday through Friday. We're almost at the end of all the production art for that book. And then the last 20 pages of it is a conversion guide for how to use the mechanics that we introduce in Spelljammer Combat and Space, Combats and Exploration, to use in Light of Zaraxis. So we're going to have basically a little flirtation with adventure design while we take content that already exists and rebuild it using new mechanics, and then using some of those principles and ideas, we're going to advance into the Crystals of Mabar and completely build from scratch another adventure. But you'll get a taste of what that's going to look like by hanging out with me on Monday through Friday in the morning while we build Light of Zaraxis. So if you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. We're trying to climb ourselves up to 500 subscribers. Where are we at right now? 230. I picked up 2 more people today. Thank you, guys. Glad to have everyone. And hey, man, how you doing, Zon? Good to see you, my guy. Let's see. We made this book cover back around episode 40 of this stream, so you can go into the Wayback Machine and check out us making this book cover. If you're interested in catching signals in the future, I'm on Twitter X at Phil Kearney. You can follow me there if you're interested. Otherwise, let's see. Let's get into this. I'm going to get this book cover out of the way. I think I have... Where are we at? Let's get... yeah, there we go. And yeah, 38 subscribers. Like, subscribe, bell icon. And here's my Twitter thing. Here we go. Profile at Phil Kearney. You can check out different art and stuff that I've done in the past. Different articles I've written, etc. Anyway, let's get into it. So we're going to play here for... What are we going to play here for? Later than I want to be. Probably about... Whoa, what's that all about? Hey there. Let's play for about an hour today. Let's see. This is a drowned assassin that we had created last time we were here. We're just doing sketches right now. I love doing sketches. It's so fun. Oh boy, a very tricky target for us to be able to catch. Let me make sure I've got my page lined up here. There. Now I can read the text that's down below. Good evening. Indeed. OBS. I finally accepted the upgrades or the whatever it is, the updates for OBS, and completely trashed my system this morning. But I think we're back online. So black pudding with the letter P. Hey, pudding. All right, let's make that a little smellier. All right, there's one black pudding in this adventure. And it's at the bottom of a bog in a dungeon that would drain out if only the black pudding wasn't filling the drain. Just filtering all the gross necrotic gunk that's falling into this water as it slides through the pudding into the Underdark of Eberron, which is known as Kyber. So this is a Kyber drain. We'll have the opportunity for characters to... Well, you have to be more than head. You have to go in over your head, like literally into this disease, poisoned, necrotic slurry of a pool, where it's basically undead soup. So if you want to drain the swamp, you can, but you're gonna have a paladin nearby, or at least somebody with some sort of disease issue stuff, because ew, it's ew. I feel, just so you know, I feel really off. There's been weird things moving through my spine, like not like face huggers or anything like that, or chest bursters. I don't think that's gonna happen. But I think the sick is sliding off of me, and it feels like, boy, it feels like I stuck a fork in an electrical outlet, to be perfectly honest. So I feel like off to the third degree. So forgive me if I'm even less coherent today than usual. I'm operating at, I don't know what kind of capacity I'm at right now, but I just feel loopy. So cheers, and here's hoping that I can trust myself to be an audience member, and ask that the muses go ahead and run this show tonight, because I don't know what I got going on inside me, but I don't think she's intimidated by it. So I'm gonna do what I can to slide into the background here and let her kick up whatever it is that she might think is important for people to think about tonight. She normally thinks about things a lot deeper than I do. I think about D&D and booking, like writing books and illustrations and yucks and chuckles, and she's like, yeah, this is where your soul's gonna go when you die. Like, we're playing very different games, but I love her nonetheless. So it's a good relationship. We're doing good. Everything's fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. But I'm kind of just making a little pudding puddle here, a little. Actually, like a little bowl. Yeah, we're just gonna make a little sludgy pit. Let's get that organic shape with that foreshortening. Man, I really feel like I embarrassed myself this morning on stream, because I had done a bunch of preliminary work with some of the cottages along the ridge line on that ring world we've been illustrating in the morning, and for whatever reason I had completely cast aside any idea about perspective and ended up basically doing a lot of erasing, backtracking, and you know, flogging myself over how poorly I was doing. But so we'll see. We'll see what tomorrow is going to bring for us. Just getting things. I mean, it's just a puddle. It's not that important, right? What can I do to fancify said puddle? What is these days? What does D&D Beyond say? Hey, basic rules for D&D. Man, I'm liking the monk now. I am liking the monk. Everything that they're putting into UA5, into UA8 for the monk, black pudding, is stuff that really curves naturally into the martial power system that we've been developing. So that's I'm thrilled. Hey, what the deuce? Oh yeah, that's kind of slippery. What do you guys do here? Pseudoplod, 5 foot reach. How big are you? Large ooze. Oh my. What you got? Short attack? Yeah. Well, I don't want to attack anything specifically, but yeah, it's got pseudopods. That's all I really needed to see. So we can make little lumpy doodle things. And we'll see if we can do some cool slickness. Play with lighting a little bit, make it feel fun. I'm just doing sketches for now, so I don't want to get too deep into it. But I am going to probably spend a few just looking at how we can use lighting to our benefit with this pudding. It'll be a lot of. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. We actually dev it out into an actual token, but. That's one flat flump. You don't know the half of it. I'll be able to slick up those. I mean, it's still looking really rough, but we can slick it up as we dive into the more intricate details about it. Get our anime monster soundtrack going on here in the background. Not bad. Can approve. Oh, no, I'm sleepy. Okay, you yawn for 2 reasons, and all of them is because you're not getting enough oxygen. Usually you're not getting enough oxygen when you're sleepy because your body is slowing down, your rhythm's backing off. You don't need to be cracking out so much CPU. And then there's just holding your breath too much. I do my best not to hold my breath while I'm sketching, but I still do. Luckily, if I stop breathing long enough, I pass out and I just start breathing again. Unless, you know, I'm underwater or something. In which case, I just go to sleep and I don't wake up again. It's always a surprise. Where am I? Always a surprise. Get some texture, chinchilla. No, 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 no. Let's do like that. And like that. Be careful about our shapes here. Talking about anime, there's dangers everywhere. That's not a slime. That's a copyright strike waiting to happen. Be careful, don't go too close. Keep those lines clean, Kearney. One misplaced bulbous line could get you in severe trouble with the GUI. Careful, careful, Kearney. There's a new restaurant a couple blocks away I can walk to. It's called the Angry Crab Shack. And it's up here in Everett. Everett, Washington, the northern side of Seattle. And I want to taste angry crabs. So I might be venturing down to Ye Old Crab Shack on Thursday. Not 100% on that. It's on my horizon. That's for sure. It's getting to be wintry up here in Washington State, so I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to be seeing any snow probably till February, but it is going to potentially be bone-chilling cold in another week or two. So if I want to go out and indulge new street fare on foot, I better start cashing in on that ASAP before it gets too cold for my tootsies. Yeah, it looks kind of slimish. not bad. We'll just do a little bit of slippery sentiency type of stuff here. Just kind of gravity running its liquid across the board. It's not like I got an invisible stalker that I get to do or anything like that. I should include an invisible stalker so I have an easy illustration to finish, but alas, no. I've decided not to take the easy route. No invisible stalkers for me this time. So, we don't eat your meats. Nice one, man. Very nice one. Floyd references for the win. Always the victory. Would you like some fucking pudding? No doubt. I just want any pudding that ate your brains. This is probably what the Brits would call toilet pudding. I'm whipping up my own batch right now. Hack-a-doodle-doo. I am in a mood today. Don't mind me. Just mooding. Sorry, guys. It's been a week. Literally, it's been a week. Like a week ago, I was not streaming because this cold had just caught me, dropped me like a rock, and I'm still shaking it off. Not happy, Bob. Not happy. This run out like that. How's my fire doing? We got a fireplace like 5 feet over there. Only a 5-foot step to catching myself on fire at any given time. It's both a mild threat to keep at my back at all times, but boy, it sure is a warm threat. It's pleasant. This is the time of year where I get to turn off any kind of central air at all, whether heat or cold, and just grab a couple logs down again and just cook them up. I feel like this has too much elevation going on inside here. Kind of want to clip it. There. So I'm going to do this. Yeah, see? Bring down that perspective a little bit. It helps round it out. It's like an awfully, I think I want to add just a little bit more mass. When toothpaste finally breaks free of its prison, you can again take the night. White pudding. Let it be known as the Colgate Crusades. There used to be this great Crest commercial. It was probably like 6 seconds long. I'll have to look it up sometime. But it was like really, it was like old, like the G.I. Joe cartoon movie, like really well rendered American animation of a bunch of toothpaste themed superheroes that all had giant toothbrushes as staffs, and they were riding along top a tube of toothpaste, but it was stylized to look like a war submarine, and they were defending this fortress that was rising out of the water. That was just like a crown of teeth. was the fortress wall, and there was like bannerets in the background, and there was all these crest warriors on the wall, and I don't know, they were defending themselves against the cavities, but we didn't get to see the cavity creatures. But that has actually stuck with me over the years. It makes me wonder. It doesn't make me wonder a lot, but it makes me wonder sometimes. There was also a series of really great, man. Sometimes I wish I could get away with streaming copyright content, because there was a series of Levi's commercials that I was just absolutely in love with when I was 7 and 6, maybe I was 5. Hell, I don't know. Anyway, it was this demon dressed up in samurai armor, and he ate Levi's jeans. And there was a number of, this is when 501's button flies first came out. That's how old we're talking. And the commercials were about how unique in flavor the 501 jeans were. That the Levi's demon, he was some sort of intergalactic warlord, and he lived on denim. And the story, it was fantastic. It was like Aeon Flux style animation. It was badass. And actually, was it Michael Chung is the name of the guy that created Aeon Flux? He was actually one of the illustrators. There was 2 really fucking awesome cartoons for Levi's. One of them was Eddie. There was a series of cartoon shorts that were called Eddie, and each was a different character named Eddie, and they were doing different shenanigans and activities during the commercial, like a day in the life of whichever Eddie this is. You know what? Fuck it. I want to see if I can find it real quick. I don't necessarily have to play the commercial, but I really want to try to track that down. Eddie 501 commercial 1980s animation. Let's see if I can find it. This is a lark. Don't mind me. Levi's.
Here are a few words about Levi.
But we're not going to listen to that. But yeah, these were old Levi's commercials. Clever shit. That was lackluster. Levi's jeans ads. Let's get past that here in a minute, I'm sure. Levi's jeans animation commercials. Oh, that's a play all. That's cool. Hold on. Idiot.
To our town, he was told.
No. I'm on a lark here. I don't know why. Yeah, this is one of Eddie's. There he is.
Levi's.
Yeah, I know I'm on a total tangent right now. Give me what I want. Levi's. Claymation. Space Alien. Maybe this is it. No, it's just a commercial. Get out of my life. 3, 2, 1, 0. Get out of my life. Yes, this is the one. All right, we'll play this. We'll risk it.
Levi's.
The Euclidean warlord says he has long admired the fit of your Levi's jeans.
Tell him it is a frequent custom to wear Levi's jeans on Earth, denim and corduroy. It is one of the things I often miss so far from home. But I do not think the Euclidean could wear Levi's jeans.
Levi's.
He says Clids do not exactly wear Levi's jeans.
That's the kind of shit I was in love with when I was a little kid. So, that's enough of a tangent. I'll get out of this space now. There was you know what? Actually, before I completely leave that space, behold the Levi Cinematic Universe. But this is the kind of shit that got me where I am now. So, I mean, you know, props to where props are at. Let's see if I can find the Eddie lasers real quick. Eddie, Levi's, tentacle, commercial. Here it is. Holy shit, yes. Get on board.
Edward, thrilled at having bought buttonfly jeans, whose style, durability, and comfort would last him for years to come, failed to see the obvious flaw in his plan.
Love that shit. All right, now I'll get back to work. I feel satiated now. I haven't watched that in years. Love that. That was that was the same guy that did Liquid Television's Aeon Flux, which is also amazing. But I will get copy strike right away. They are really Nazi about. I may as well just go all in now because I said both Nazi and I've played copyright stuff. But if they flag me, I'll just mute it. It should be fine. But yeah, man, Aeon Flux, that stuff is sick. If you haven't seen those old, in the 90s there was MTV, when MTV did stuff. They had a series. It was like it was basically an experimental animation TV show. It lasted for like 2 seasons, maybe like 25 episodes, and maybe eight of them had 3-minute shorts of Femme Fatale, Aeon Flux, basically running around in latex death armor, and she gets killed every episode, but she's always doing spy stuff. She never speaks. She's always dealing with some sort of fucked up situation, and it provides zero there's no context provided. There is an absolute storyline that is occurring, but they don't tell you anything. At most, they'll give you like a picture. Like, here's your target. Like, that's it. But she never says anything. It's just a bunch of like background music and special effect noises. But she's always on some sort of a mission, trying to achieve something like steal a document or assassinate somebody, or like you'll catch her in the middle of something's going horribly wrong. She's just trying to get the hell out without being killed, and she always dies. Mostly because either vanity or curiosity getting the best of her, and just not allowing herself to get out when she needs to get out. She feels so much like if you're a Ravnica MTG fan, she just is like the quintessential Demir to me. just she's someplace between Demir and Rakdos. She's probably, I guess, what would that be? Abzan, Grixis. Anyway, she's a terrorist obsessed with knowing stuff. It's great. Love Aeon Flux. But I love the silent. It was they just let you just study it. Like Peter Chung, that was his name, Peter Chung. He had stories that were happening inside of there, and there was ongoing things that were happening in the background that if you watched all of them multiple times, you started getting a feel for what was going on. And there was new characters that would get introduced, but there would also be recurring characters, and of course Aeon, she would always be a participant at one level or another, but she could get killed, and the story would go on for another few minutes without her, because it wasn't about her, it was just about the environment. Sick shit. Heavily recommend Aeon Flux. The animated series, when they spoke, it eventually evolved into a 30-minute serial show that would occasionally have problem like dungeon delving or like Tomb Raider type stuff, but most of the time it was just weird stuff and heady philosophical conversations. It wasn't the same ultra liquid it was just liquid animation. It was so amazing. God, it was so amazing. Tex, what's up? Hey, Planet. Welcome to the mix, my guy. Yes, today's episode brought to you by Levi's 501 jeans. This might be. We'll see if I get copyright straight for playing 1980s cartoon commercials or not. We'll see. I can survive it, but it'll be a harsh lesson. I shan't risk again anytime soon if I get struck, but it'll probably just force me to mute it. And if so, okay. But ooh, that looks like an omelet. Such awesome animation. I would watch that shit just over. I would seriously wait and see those commercials come on Saturday mornings. Just as excited to see those cartoons as I was to see like Mighty Orbots or the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon or G-Force. Oh, that looks cool. This is back when, like when I was 4 or 5. Really just, I got, even from just super young age, I really just wanted to get into weird animation and ideas, and never got into the animation. I still dream of doing like Athos art to heavy metal and stuff like that. But I'm content with where I'm at in my creative pipeline right now. Black pudding. Do 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 do. Ooh, black pudding. Sorry, I got some Kiss on my mind. Talking about the 80s. It was so great. Back in like in '78, people dressing up as Kiss for Halloween. So shitloads of people running around with cat makeup on and stuff. It was I couldn't stand the smell of it. It was disgusting. Just grease paint, just that and banana mayonnaise sandwiches are just two things that are almost guaranteed to make me throw up. Grease paint, banana mayonnaise sandwich. There was this this kindercare place that I went to when I was 4 or 5, whatever. It was, it was after school daycare because my parents weren't around a lot because, abandoned 80s child. But they would. Oh, I was so sad. They said that they would give us waffles, but we had to eat our sandwich first. And for fuckers, so seriously, it was 2 pieces of Wonder Bread with mayonnaise and a chopped up banana inside of it. And I don't know. I honestly, sorry, I'm being fed facts. Apparently, I threw it up. So I ate like 2 or 3 bites of it, and then I just like projectile vomited all over the table and hit a couple kids around me. And so for the longest time, the story I told myself was that it was such a disgusting flavor that it just made me throw up. And so I've never eaten, the only type of banana I'll eat is like banana bread, right? I won't actually just eat bananas or like banana split or whatever. But Muse just told me that, in fact, the reality of it was that I was such a vindictive little brat of a child that I made myself throw up by eating too much and letting it get caught in my throat. So I made myself throw up because I was actually angry at the attendants that wouldn't give me waffles. I wanted a fucking waffle, and they refused to give me one because I didn't eat my banana mayonnaise sandwich. I'm like, why would I want to eat a banana mayonnaise sandwich? And they're like, I just want a waffle. It's like, no, you have to eat your banana mayonnaise sandwich. So I decided to throw up my banana mayonnaise sandwich. And then they made my mom come and pick me up, and I didn't get the waffles, and I didn't get dinner either, because my mom was mad at me because she probably knew that I was a vindictive little bastard and I threw up on purpose. But honestly, I literally never thought of it till now. I don't think that sandwich made me sick. I think I made myself sick on purpose. This is a weird day. God, what skin am I in? Whew. If I'm not careful, I'm going to start telling everyone where the bodies are buried. But I mean, give me a break. Banana mayonnaise sandwich for a 4-year-old? That's disgusting. What the hell were you guys thinking? I should have thrown up on them. I feel bad for the kids around me. I don't remember who they are anymore, of course, but... What a bastard. Yeah. It's just, it's a type of wrong. Let's see. I think I've been fucking around with this little bottle of pudding long enough. I should probably move on to something else, but just can't help myself. I'm just enjoying. I'm trying to get like this sense of movement and depth perception, like this. Well, I'm so pissed off at how poorly I had perspective this morning. For the buildings I was creating, I think I'm putting myself through a little bit of a perspective camp here, forcing myself to play with foreshortening a little bit so I'll have a little time before bed. I'll probably knock out a couple more buildings just to make sure I've actually got the architecture right, so that when we come back in tomorrow morning, we can hopefully knock down those buildings like I had intended to this morning before I realized the sham of a perspective artist I am. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun doing this stuff in the morning once we get there. I keep resettling myself. My pillows keep shifting around underneath my ass. Gets this like Mercury or like, yeah, Mercury sort of vibe I feel inside of this. Nice. I can probably... I see some more text down there. Hold on, I'll catch up with you. I'm liking that. It's feeling good. It's swear I saw some text bouncing. Oh, it was probably somebody throwing hearts or some shit. Whatever's making my eyes jumping at movement down in the corner of the screen. I don't know what it is. Better though. Hold on, let's get that. There we go. And then tilt this up a bit, and yeah, that's on point. Yeah, that's not bad. And then what we'll end up doing, I don't want to waste too much time on it right now, but Edward. Since these is a black pudding, it's only black and white, I can actually do a lot of glossy detail with this and still have it be viable as a black and white token. So I do black and white tokens, and then I do color tokens. I'll develop out the line art for the black and white tokens to the point that they look good onto themselves. But then I will also colorize them so you'll have both black and white and color tokens. Black and white, so you have something cool to look at, but prints easily. And then I will have the color, which is intended for people that want to print difficult or want to upload them onto VTT. I'm a big Roll20 enthusiast here. I've got about almost 8,000 hours, I think, booked into Roll20 at this point. So it's definitely my VTT of preference, and I don't think I have any. I hear good things about Owlbear Rodeo, but honestly, I'm a prestige monger, and I like clout, so I stick with Roll20 simply because I've accumulated stupid amounts of hours in it. There might be other tools that are easier, but I mean, Roll20 really is just stupid simple, and they've been doing a lot of work on upgrading different features, most of which I'll never use. But it's nice that they're there and that my money goes towards making those things happen for people. So I do have a sense of pride and completionism there. Plus, Roll20 is associated with DriveThruRPG now. So if I convert my stuff over into Roll20 format, I can sell them there. So it's ultimately more rewarding for me to stay on Roll20 than to dance away onto something else. And as a forever DM, that's kind of my choice. So, huzzah, Mother Hubbard! I'm pretty happy with that. And then we can do things like stuff like that. So when we drop this down to 100%, so we'll have this neat little. We'll end up with this cool little glossy blackened effect, like Phyrexian oil. You know, it'll look really fucking dope. I love doing that kind of stuff, doing light reflections and sheens and like metallic gradients and. This is very rewarding rendering work. It's very, very satisfying. Something I can really just let myself go and let the muse kind of run the show while I just push reflecting light around and stare into the baubles of it all. Martial Powers today went really, really well. Happy to see the changes to the Unearthed Arcana for the proposed changes to the 2024 Monk. All those changes I'm Wouldn't necessarily do them exactly that way, but I see how they're doing things, and I'm content. I have no complaints about them. If they implemented all those things as is, the monk would be something people would want to seriously consider. And that's all I've ever wanted to do, is get monk to a place where people would consider integrating it as you know, the bastard 12th class. Now we gotta get people on board with the artificer a little bit more. But Wizards has already said they don't really care about the artificer. So it's going to be, yet again, it's up to us to make it work. So I'll be doing more martial powers tomorrow. We'll be working on the open hand, and also resolving power kits for the Ranger, Beastmaster, and Drake Warden. I suspect those are going to look pretty similar, but I think the Drake Warden will warrant some different powers than what just a general Beastmaster would be able to provide. But I think we're going to see some cool opportunities. I'm looking forward to exploring it. I'm still liking how the Rangers' powers sit, like the changes to Hunter's Mark, and all that stuff. All the prey things, the marked targets, and integrating that marks more into the subclasses feels, because Hunter's Mark is essentially a class feature made into a spell, and by adding a dedicated class resource to it, and by integrating changes to Hunter's Mark based on what subclass you use, adds additional flair to, I think, just make the Ranger just feel like it's more of its own thing than also a sort of abandoned stepchild. I feel like a lot of kids are abandoned in D&D. Could just be me. Doom, boom, doom, doom, doom. Sponsor. Well, apparently I'm doing gloss today. Apparently I love doing this so much that I've decided I'm just going to do this. Like I said, I'm not really in charge here. I'm just an audience member, just like everyone else is. I look up from the work. I'm like, oh, hey, that looks really cool. I did that. That's amazing. Don't ask me how. This is why it's really important that I actually do this stuff on stream, so I can defend myself against claims of AI, because this stuff looks so much like AI does now that people mistake my work for AI all the time. No, that is equivocally untrue. See, that's coming along. I think I'm okay for now. I'm just gonna leave it be. I'm gonna leave it like that. We'll come back and finish it another time. Let's move on while the energy's good. Black pudding. Do. Oh boy, is Shadow Mastiff. How am I ever gonna figure this one out? Look, it's an invisible stalker, guys. Let's move on to the next one. Shadow Mastiff. Nastiff. No. That's with an M as in Mother Hubbard. Well, here's some pudding you can have. Not like that. Hey, what's up, Tex? That was easy. Oh my God, abandoned children or dead parents. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm going to say dead parents because most people don't want to feel like they're abandoned. Most people are okay that their parents left and that they have to do it on their own because fuck you, parents. Especially when you're 12. But yeah, abandoned, that's super sad. People with abandoned childhoods are people that want to play out trauma. Be careful. There's a flag there at your table that you need to keep an eye out for it. So let's look at Watsy's take on what the Shadow Mastiff is doing in D&D Beyond for reference sake. I bet it's gonna be an outline of a dog. Shadow Mastiff. Please inspire me to greatness. Hey, that's a pretty good looking pooch. It was a dead poochie. Yeah. That's critter. Description: shunning sunlight. These hounds are usually met as a pack. Some faiths devoted to deities of gloom and night, such as that of Shar in the Forgotten Realms, perform unholy rites to summon shadow mastiffs to work at temples, to work as temples and bodyguards. That's like it's like an evil foo dog, right? Foo dogs are like the spirit dog temple guardians in whatever culture it is that we're not supposed to talk about in D&D anymore. I don't remember. These are monstrosities, so they're not like undead or anything. Let's look up foo dog temple guardian. My alarm is ringing now. My alarm is ringing. My alarm is ringing now. Only 10 more? Hey there, foo doggy. Hey there, foo doggy. Dime la foo doggy. PetSmart. Why am I in PetSmart? PetSmart, your place for foo dogs. Frequently bought together. Vaguely Asian temple wooden structures and also appropriated dog statues. I don't think that's the same culture. But I can't talk about it, so don't ask. Free transform? Woohoo. Some big 'em. Ruff, ruff, ruff. See what we can build this guy into. I am in a mood. What you holding there, buddy? Is that your bowl? Is that your bowl? Was your bowl? Look at that little piggy snout. Yeah, okay, buddy, I see you. Let's do this, ref. What is going on tonight? If that is a ball, it is definitely a goofball. Let's put our foo goofball down here yonder. Alright. Okay. Big old mug. I can make this work. We're just going to use our normal doodle method of just scratching stuff in and see what becomes manifest in the process. Reminds me of Dresden with the mastiff temple puppy that he gained on one of his missions. God, I can't remember the name of that dog. It's been a while since I've read. It's been maybe 5 years since I've read Dresden. What? Oh. Is that a... Okay. I thought I locked up there. Nope. White layer. More like a toad than a dog. We were doing dogs last week. There's a small pseudo dog theme going on. Yeah, like a mini game to free all the puppers from the bad peoples. Puppers and peoples. Chibachi. Nabagoth. Apparently I only snoozed it last time. And like usual, it's completely lifeless. So let's take that into consideration. I like the anatomy exploration a little bit, but I need something with a little bit more punch. I'm gonna do like that. I mean, the thing's built like a barrel. It's not like it has a lot of maneuverability built into it, so it's more of a tank than a striker. Except the ones that are dead. Just keep on trying till we run out of cake. We'll never run out of cake, by the way. It's a digital pen. As long as there's still electricity, I can keep trying. Please, the sun, don't take electricity from us. We won't know for 8 minutes, but so at any time, you're 8 minutes away from humanity completely crumbling. You'll never see it coming. I mean, you'll see it when it's here, because it's going to be really dark, and we're going to be moving in a very different direction. But, you know what I mean. Is it a dog or is it a bullet, Kearney? Land shark. My land shark puppy. I think, if I'm not mistaken, 3rd edition Rangers could get bullets as an animal companion. Like I think around level 28. Have your huge size land burrowing puppy. don't know if I'd want to play a Ranger 28 levels to get to that point, but I'd build one. I'd build one at 25th level and earn it. I'll borrow that smoky motif that they gave us in the monster manual. Hey, block of text. The time it takes for photons to travel from the core of the sun to the outside of the corona of the light we could see could be the core of the sun to the outside. Oh. Touche, mon frere. I won't fight that science. I don't even want to find a framework for me to refute it. It just sounds too cool. On board for the full journey with you, buddy. What the? Oh, I was pressing the wrong direction. It's like, wow, how often does that alarm need to go off before I can actually turn it off? The answer apparently is until I actually look at what it says. I know I'm thinking of kid stuff these days because I watched The Black Hole yesterday with my gal. She's not nearly as much of an enthusiast as I am for said black hole. That was the first movie I picked out in the theater to see. I think it was my 5th or 6th birthday, something like that. I was pretty young. I was like 81. So, but yeah, that was the first movie that I ever chose to see. And the second movie that I ever chose to see was Flash Gordon Black Hole. Black Gordon Flash Hole. No, Flash Gordon. Black Hole and Flash Gordon, the first two movies I ever chose to see. The first movie I remember seeing was Star Wars in the theater, the original New Hope. I don't remember a lot of it. I just remember I was there. And then I remember being really excited about Empire Strikes Back coming out. I was old enough to be collecting Kenner toys for Star Wars by the time. I like this song a lot. By the time Empire came around. God damn, what a great film. Pixar presents Shadow Mastiffs. I'm pretty happy with this structure overall. Right now I'm just trying to futz around with the anatomy enough to be at a place where I'm happy for it. We're getting there. getting there. Just kind of burn that out in there. Yet another alarm, but this one is for my 20-minute marker. See, 20 minutes kicking. Where are we at? 9:13? Okay. We got a little bit of time. Boo-doo. Boo-doo. Bayo, bayo. Pretty happy with that. I could use improvement. So let's take this one and drop it down. Go back in. We now have some core anatomy here that we can use to start fleshing this out a little bit better. Spews bad news at people. Its breath weapon is unpopular opinions. Levi's Jeans does offer options for dogs. Nice, well done, sir. Well done. Levi's. Yep, casual human hanging out with aliens, talking about pants. That's how we rolled in the 80s. That's what it was all about. Aliens and comfortable fit jeans. Well, then they came out with Galaxy High, and that was a great cartoon. That lasted like 20 episodes, maybe. I enjoyed it a lot. It was pretty cool. The animation had that sort of brashness to it, like brash as in like the sound that a trumpet makes. You know how it has like that brashness to it? I don't know if that's the right word, like brassy brashness. Maybe I'm just blending brass with ass and coming up with brash. But that shrill harshness. There's like a shrill harshness to a lot of cartoons in the early 90s. Like low sound quality, like a lot of empty sound space, and then like a lot of sharp, like cacophonous sound. It was how to describe it better than that. But definitely not the best days of animation in the world. But cool ideas though. Galaxy Eye was a cool was a cool cartoon. Definitely worth watching. You can find it on YouTube pretty easily. Yeah. My puppy. You sure that's a dog? Give him 6 legs, make him stitch. Krishna, Snara, Krishna. So naughty. I didn't teach him that. Lilo and Stitch is by far one. I think Lilo and Stitch and Tangled, I think, are my 2 favorite Disney productions. I like the second Frozen a lot. It's really cool. It's a cool story. I like the environments. Characters are neat, and it's got really great banter. And Benny, is that the name of the snowman? He is fucking funny. He's obvious. I love what I really like about Frozen is how much Disney cartoons typically have a stupid little toy like little animal mascot for the kids to be able to relate to during the engagement of the storyline, so that you can keep them on board and enjoying it. But Benny the snowman during Frozen, Benny is like a 30-something-year-old, very psychologically damaged family, like a father or maybe a mom that's really dealing with, like, gripping with the ideas of mortality and finality and fleetingness of time, because he's a snowman. He can melt at any time. He's like hyper aware of his own mortality, and it's just, he's like an avatar in the story for like the parent that has to watch Frozen like 1,000 times because of their stupid fucking little kid is addicted to it. It used to be the kids got dragged to go see the movie, and they had the cute little thing so that they would stay on board while the parents are absorbing the storyline as adult information, as a mature storyline. And the kid, most of it's going over the kids' heads. Now it's that kids play the same movie over and over and over and over again. They have to insert a mascot for the adult to be able to say, I know this is taxing. We get it. It's taxing. Thanks for being on board for your kid. I love that. I absolutely adore that. And then there's Moana with Hey Hey, which is just like the dumbest chicken ever. So awesome. I gotta say, yeah, Moana's in my top 3. Lilo and Stitch, Tangled, and Moana. Tangled's just funny. It's just legit funny. It's like they were. I would say Disney was in their prime of awkward, cute, geeky girls as main characters. It peaked. It peaked with Tangled, because Rapunzel's just too good. I think after that it was like Prince and Frog, which is kind of garbage, and Soul was good. I liked Soul a lot, but it can't break those top 3. It wasn't that strong. Yeah, good stuff, good times. I'm gonna just do like I like this. I think this is turning out pretty cool. This will all be shadow gloopy stuff coming off of them. Might accidentally read as fire or something, so I'm going to have to be careful. I like this thick, I like that thick, beefy bulldog look to him. I know it's not very mastiffy. I acknowledge and accept that truth. But I just think he looks too cool like this, so sticking with it. I can bring that down a touch though. Like if Slod kept dogs. Slod dog. My puppy. I like that curved paw. That feels good. Another one back in here. You can pretend whatever that is that you want. That's a good beefy mutt. I don't want to clean up the anatomy too much. I like the sketchiness of it. I kind of want it to hang. Shadow Mastiff. One of the henchmen to the necromancer that's in charge. He's a beastmaster that has that summons shadow mastiffs. Like there's an evil Oathbreaker paladin, you know, like commands undead. Evil ranger commands shadow mastiffs. Get the hell out of here. Too much cool shit, man. There's like evil themed rangers are badass. Like a Fey Wanderer Ranger, but instead of being connected to the Feywild, he's connected to the Shadowfell. So he doesn't have like a Fey companion. He has shades that he can summon to drain strength damage out of his targets. Like that's a really great NPC to hunt after your characters. Like easy, quick, memorable villains. Take a subclass and subvert it, and then make that the NPC, and make it obvious what they do and what they're about and where they're riffing off of, so the team can be like, oh, that's cool. In one of our Eberron campaigns, the orc druid the orc ranger. No, he was a. What was he playing? He was playing an orcish. This is back in the Mystic, in the days they were playtesting Mystic. So he was a Mystic Druid Ranger. No, that wasn't right. Barbarian. He picked up levels in Barbarian. He was a Mystic Ranger Barbarian mix. He went to 20. So he got to I think he got this. There was only 5 or 7 levels in the Mystic playtest. So he took all of those, and then he bounced into Barbarian, I think for 12 levels, and then he capped it off with a little bit of Ranger. But he ended up going Barbarian Totem, and during the course of the campaign, by the time he got into this is like around level 9 that he got into the Path of the Totem. And by that point, they had rescued numerous shadow blink dog pups. So they had a small pack of blink dogs that were hanging out with them as pets. And so he built and developed the path of the blink dog. So when he as a bonus action, when he raged, he could activate the blink spell, and it would remain active. What was the mechanic that we figured out for that? Because he can't maintain concentration. That's what it wanted it to do. It would last a number of rounds equal to his proficiency bonus, and he could refresh it by spending another bonus action as another expenditure of his rage, and he wasn't going to get high enough as in character levels to have perpetual rage, so he couldn't maintain it perpetually. Perpetual rage, so we deemed it fair that he would always have, because in the end he only had maybe 5 rages per day. So it's like, yeah, if you want to do blink 5 rages per day and having to cash out one of your rages each time you want to blink, that's great. So he they were all black poodles. Their main villain was a vampire named her name was Poodle, and she bred Shadow Mastiff, Blink Dog hybrids that all look like big puffy black poodles. So when he took the path of the Blink Dog, he grew a massive black afro. That was great. So he looked like a poodle. It was awesome. Too fun. Too fucking fun. That's not me being tired. That's just me not breathing enough. We talked about this. There. I think I can be probably content with that. Yeah, that's feeling a little bit too much like some sort of a fire elemental thing. It's not reading correctly. I gotta free transform. Bring that down some. Something like that. I feel pretty confident about this one, though. I'm happy with that. It's still sketch. I mean, literally, it's sketchy. Literally. But I think I'm happy with it for now. Yeah, good. That's good foreshortening. That's actually really good foreshortening. Yeah. He barks and bees shoot out of their mouth. a Gestalt campaign so bad again. It has been too long. I mean, the campaign, the 20th level campaign that I'm capping off right now, it's kind of a Gestalt. Each character is only allowed a single class, but they get to progress 3 subclasses together. We just break up like the 3rd and then 4th and then 5th level and then 6th, 7th, and 8th. And then there's a 9th level break and then 10th, 11th, 12th, and then there's a 13th level break and then 14th, 15th, 16th, and then that caps off all 3 of the subclasses that they get, and they get to pick whichever subclass they want out of all the classes that they can sensibly blend together into a coherent character idea, like a rogue, shadow monk, assassin, I don't know, Bard of Eloquence, for instance. If you don't have access, if you don't take levels in Bard, you can't get any cool things to do with inspiration. So, like, you have to kind of be a bard to be able to take advantage of any of the subclass options that the bard would give you for your inspiration, because you otherwise wouldn't have inspiration. So what the fuck is the point, right? So you have to kind of plot out, like, if I only have one class, what class can I use, and what subclasses can I use that's going to allow me to exploit properly. That's a fun campaign, but it's not true Gestalt. True Gestalt is when you take 2 classes and you just take anything that's not common between them, you gain as their own progressions. And I've ran many third edition campaigns in Gestalt, like years of them from like 10th to 28th level. And in 5th edition, I've done one Gestalt campaign from level 1 to 20, and it was only 2 classes that they progressed together, and we blended spellcasting into a single multi-class pool. So it wasn't like you got 2 stacks of cleric spells and another stack of wizard spells for like a total of about like 160 spell levels at 20th level. It was a single multi-class progression, but each class that was growing up in the ladder would add to your multi-class level. So it's pretty easy for you to have 20 levels of spellcasting in the end, depending on the kind of build that you run. But Gestalt is such a fucking fun format. Especially if I ran one from level 1 to 20, and then I did 2 of them to level as E6 campaigns, where they didn't gain any levels after they hit 6th level, but every 3,000 experience points, or every milestone, or every 12 hours of adventuring, depending on what kind of format you're running with how you gain experience points, you gain another feat or a boon of some sort, like an extra spell. Like you can memorize an extra spell, even though you're still only 6th level. You can learn more spells than what you would normally be able to. Or like you can cast a single 4th level spell today. You're a 6th level wizard, great. One of your boons is you have a single, like Magic Incarnate, you have one 4th level spell that you know. Make it a good one. Like, I love that level of power. And then the DM just doesn't. The DM isn't limited on the level of creatures that the team can face, but you have to ratchet up into it. Like, you start off with like things that are appropriate for a 6th level team, and as they defeat that and they continue accumulating enemies, you slowly ratchet up the CR threat that they're facing when it comes to like big bad bosses or like significant fights and stuff. But you keep minions and random encounters and stuff down at 6th level where we already know that they can handle it, and it just becomes a resource fatigue for them at that stage. But when they want to fight something, like, you have no qualm about throwing in a beholder against them, but you are the DM has to telegraph like a lot, like, this is the type of threat that you're going to be running across. You know this is a really high dangerous CR creature normally. I could nerf it down so it's something that you can fight, but you know that by nature of campaign, E6 doesn't assume that safety net for you. So you have to assume it's going to fucking kill you. So it forces you to not jump in guns blazing unless your strategy was already developed to be, we're going to do, we're just going to go gonzo on this. But a lot of times they're fighting stuff that is Like at one point they were fighting a lich. Jesus Christ, that was chaos. That was chaos. They were running like hell through this dungeon, but they knew where all the traps were, so they were trying to. It wasn't the lich's dungeon. It was just a dungeon they lured the lich into to chase after them because the lich hated them. So they were trying to use a dungeon that they had known before that they had conquered. And they didn't. They had a couple fireballs lobbed at them. They lost a henchman, and the lich saw through it. Like, this is obviously a trap, and he just teleported away. It's like, whatever, I'll catch you guys when you're old. And that was that. They then left town because they took the lich seriously. It was like, yeah, I'm gonna come and get you when you're not looking. And they're like, okay, well, we're gonna just go ahead and skip the fuck out of town ASAP. They never did run across the lich again because they got killed by a bunch of beholders. And then the other E6 campaign that I ran in 5th edition was it was an Ephesian. It was a Dark Sun campaign where they were harvesting flesh from a Tarask that was tied down in the middle of the city. That the city basically grew around harvesting its regenerating flesh off of. So they had unlimited food resources as long as they could keep it alive. But if it could move, it would destroy all and eat all of them. So they had these chopper teams that had just giant cleavers that all their job was to sever the spinal cord as much as they possibly could, because the thing would regenerate so quickly that if they laid off for a minute, like literally for a minute, it would reform a bond and it would be able to rise up again. And occasionally the fucker would grow another brain somewhere down its body line, because somewhere the Trask would get a signal. It's like, this paralysis thing isn't working out so good for us. We should come up with an alternate strategy. So its body would react and create another brain someplace that would allow like independent control of one of its limbs. So it would just start raking through and destroying part of the town while it tried to figure out how to push itself away from the community with one arm. And you have like the swarm of warriors go up and start trying to dig a hole into its flesh to try to find the brain. And they'd carve out a tunnel, and then the characters would go down into it like a flesh dungeon, and there'd be antibiotics like slimes and like little fey creatures and like little demon things that would be antibodies attacking them like they were a virus. And so they would get into different organs, and it was a fun little game. And then outside of that, it was a luchador campaign. So when they weren't busy carving their way through a Tarask to find different type of potion components or meat that they could use, or materials like leathers and stuff, when they were off shift, they would fight in the arena as luchadors, and the uncontested winner that they were fighting when the campaign broke up, because some of the people that were playing ended up having harsh feelings towards each other. So the campaign ended up dying, and we just didn't want to pick it up again after that. But what they were fighting was a sand kraken. It's Dark Sun, right? So everything's intelligent, everything has psionics. And so it was this huge sized kraken that could burrow through the dirt like a bullet, but it had 10 tentacles. So it could fight mobs of people at the same time while it was stunning people with psionic blasts and then becoming untargetable because it would dig underneath the ground. But it knew that it had to stay inside of the arena or it would be disqualified for leaving the ring. So it could dig down and hide itself and then pop out tentacles and attack people and do like these little sonic blasts to knock out people and stun them and stuff. But and these guys were 6th level. Just kidding. It was fun. It was a very, very fun campaign. Highly recommend. Luchador campaigns are fucking fun. Once I had to capture a Hydra so they could start a restaurant with unlimited Hydra steak. That's the way, my guy. That is my way. Anyone have any content that was... That's good stuff, man. Yeah, your team would fit in right in with mine. I think most legendary like keepers, like really fun gaming tables, are the ones that are just like severely steeped into the shenanigan tier of play. You know, like where they want, like my team always wanted to open like a muffin shop or a shoe store. They were tailors at one point. They had a pub, muffin shop, pub, tailor shop. They had a hat emporium at one point, making magic hats for people. I think I'm happy with this. I think that's a real fine way to stop. We'll go with this for now, and we'll pull that in there to the Shadow Mastiff. And hey, we're running out of monster tokens. What we got left here? We've got a Revenant, a Bone Knight, Sturge, White. You don't know what a Living Grave is, but basically it's an undead generator. It's a giant fusion of it's a mass grave that gains sentience as basically as an ooze swarm sort of thing, and it spits out ghouls. So it's like Gauntlet had monster generators, right? Like it would just spit out a chain of monsters for the team to attack. The living grave is the same way. It'll keep spitting out undead to you, and they're normally underwater or like buried underneath filth or whatever. So like undead will come out of the filth and then come running at you, and it keeps spitting them out. So the team is either just going to perpetually be knocking down undead, or they're going to have to dive into the pit and find the grave and basically carve it up themselves, and then disable it. But once we get into the adventure, we were talking about that in the cemetery. I think that was like around episode. I want to say around episode. Maybe 90, around episode 90, I think we were building the graveyard. So you can check that out, because we were talking a lot about the strategies and how monsters, random encounters and monsters were generated while you're in the graveyard. That's really fun content. But I think Revenant, Black Pudding, no, Shadow Massive, Black Pudding. A Revenant is. It's basically just an undead dude with a grudge. Look, it's a squaggle of doodle. It's a doodle squaggle. That's the official word now. This is a doodle squaggle. Witness it. It's my squaggle. But from squaggle comes form. Skew. Size. I spy with my eye something that is text. Give me a second to catch up with you. What's up? Glad to supply. Oh crap! I think somebody purchased one of my. I know someone was asking about purchasing one of the Krampus illustrations that I have. I need to check to see if that came through so I can get the. Get the content to him. This is a revenant who was born from undeath to seek vengeance. Oh, I'm getting a fun Spawn vibe off of this dude. I'm gonna let that roll. Burn much, victim? I'm not a victim. Well, if you're not a victim, then why are you so scornful about having died? It was an unjust death. Doesn't that make you feel like a victim? I mean, doesn't it take a victim mentality to hold on to vengeance so severely, Mr. Undead? It was truly a dishonorable death. Don't you think that someone other than you could serve out justice to the injustice that was served unto you? This eye for an eye stuff, like coming back to take care of it yourself, obviously you're ill-equipped for the job. Did you die and become undead because you're trying to find some sort of an upgrade? Here, let's give you a grill like Darth Vader, just to make fun of how poorly you breathe. Bone armor, super dope. I gotta say, Cypher system would let you do that pretty easily. The challenge rating for the creature doesn't care if you attack it or make fun of it, or just convince it to be your friend. It's I gotta say, Cypher system has some really cool stuff going for it. It's a little. To me it feels. I liked it as a DM. It was so easy for me to be able to throw stories together, like in Eberron, like running Cypher system in Eberron is fucking great, because Eberron is such an old world with so many buried kingdoms upon kingdoms upon kingdoms that Cypher like the ciphers of the temporary magic items that you acquire. They're easy to justify in the game because it's like, yeah, there's this tech literally laying everywhere. Like no one knows how to use any of this shit. It's a very Numenera approach to Eberron in general, but it really jives well with the setting. The problem that I had running it, it was literally, there was no problem with me running it at all. But it's once you kind of get into the groove of the way that Cypher resolves problems is to either increase your edge to the point where you can trivialize the encounter. Like if you can drop the challenge rating, like instead of gaining bonuses to roll higher, what you're doing is you're finding ways that your character can reduce the difficulty of the task to the point where you just automatically succeed. So you're raising your base skill your skill base to be able to hit certain numbers, and at the same time you're also working this ladder of ability to drop the challenge ratings that you face. And when they hit the same level, like if it's a 7/7, if it's like a 7th rating threat, and you can automatically succeed third rating challenges, if you could find a way between your team, the narrative, equipment that you have, and circumstances that apply to bring that 7 down to a 3, you don't have to roll anymore. You've neutralized the threat. And one way you can neutralize, one method to drop down the risk of it is to allow the DM to give it to you, but to create complications that make it work, that allows you to get what you want, but it doesn't happen the way that you would prefer it to having happen. So there's a complication. And so once the team got into this groove about being able to figure out complications and working together to build edge up enough that they could nullify the risk, they lost interest. Because the big difference between Cypher System and, like, say, D&D is that D&D is always, how to put it, you don't neutralize a challenge in D&D or a lot of D20 type games. You just get so much so much statistical advantage that you may as well just not be able to fail, but you're still going to roll. So you're always expected to be rolling dice, and the results of those dice can create interesting interactions depending on how the DM likes to interpret results. So when you get rid of dice rolling altogether and you just succeed, as a DM, you can kick through plot points because you're constantly introducing new complications and yes, but, yes, and, yes, but, yes, and scenarios where it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Like, yeah, we're succeeding at these, but at all these tasks that are being added on, but there's no end to how much bullshit we're going to have to deal. So at some point, we're either just going to make the die rolls and reduce the amount of threats that we have to deal with. So, or we're going to get killed, or we're going to play the edge game and drop down the threat level. And they're like, but then if you drop it down to 0, I'm just going to keep modifying the storyline and giving you more bullshit to resolve. So they're like, we'd rather just play a game where we know that there's going to be a set number that we have to hit, and depending on how we roll, you're going to potentially complicate it. But if we kill the roll, we kill the roll, we know we killed it. If we botch the roll, we know we botched the roll, and we know we're going to have to deal with it. Like, they didn't actually like that level of freedom that was given to them, because they liked the hard, like the hard challenge, like the set challenge DCs, that they knew that they had to roll 15, and even though they have a lot of bonuses that could give it to them, if for some reason they can't hit that number, then they're going to be in trouble. And they like that absolute risk. Like, they like being clever, like tactically clever, to make it easier for them to like mitigate the risk that they were going to take. But they never wanted to get rid of the fact that they could just fail. And that's the entertainment that team got from playing role-playing games. It's like, let's come up with malarkey plans that there's no way in hell it's going to work out, and let's figure a way to make it work out, because the dice are always miracles. The dice end up just doing what the dice want to do, regardless of how likely it is to succeed or how impractical it is to expect that, like, to roll a 16 or above, because you actually need like a die roll of 30 to pull off the bullshit that you're attempting to do. But you happen to have a plus 14 to your die roll because you're high enough level to have that kind of stuff. Then, like, yeah, we want to be tapping these stupid high numbers. Like, that whole team came from 3rd edition. And the 3rd edition Epic Level Handbook had, like, if you want to do an escape artist check, like, that's kind of like an old school version of an acrobatics check, for instance. If you can hit a DC 70 on your acrobatics check, you can slip through a force wall, a wall of force spell, or like a force cage. You can slip through a crack between the molecules of the force cage if you can hit a DC 70. If you can roll a DC 80, you can climb a force wall at normal speed, because you find grip in cracks, even upside down. So, like, you could do insane crap. And so once the Epic Level Handbook came out, it didn't matter what level we were. It's the epic level results were things that we were always shooting for, because those were DCs that now existed. We knew if we could pull off a climb check of 70 that we could climb glass surfaces. So we're always trying to figure out, what glass surface is that? Can I hit that DC? Is that even possible? And then they'd wreck themselves to try to accomplish it, because that's the kind of game that they like to play. And Cypher Systems is kind of antithetical to that. It likes to empower the characters by allowing them to kind of have control over the narrative by sculpting what challenges they'll actually face, and to kind of bargain with the DM to create alternate scenarios and incursions and complications. As a DM, I love that complication system. Like, Cypher System is a system that's built DM first. Like, it's a game that DMs like to play, and players, if they're DMs too, players like to play it. So Cypher wants to train you to be a DM first and a player second. So it's like, have a new DM that doesn't know how to play and have them run a game for a bunch of veteran players, so the veteran players can teach the DM how to bullshit, so that they can start riffing with you. But while D&D and most other games is learn to play first, and then once you like the game, then you can learn how to run one, because you know what it's like to play. Completely different backwards. I would probably, if I ran across a dedicated team of Cypher enthusiasts, I would probably love DMing for them. I've never bothered looking for a Cypher enthusiast party. Just never got around to it, because the players that were on my team were like, yeah, we're not interested. We played it for like a year, and we felt like we kind of got the feel for it, and it was by far the fastest paced, most dynamic, most shenanigan coded campaign I think I'd ever been in. But the crunch wasn't there, so they let it go. So you have to get into a team that's really tired of crunch, like people that are frustrated with hard math games like D&D Pathfinder would probably find a lot of solace inside a Cypher System. But my team, we all cut our teeth on 3rd edition epic levels. Like most of the team I taught to play was in 3rd edition. I've been playing since Beckme back in the 80s. But when 3rd edition came out, it structured things so elegantly for the time that it was compelling to just want to get good at that system. And it's like, oh, it goes to level 20? Well, then we must be able to play to level 20. No one told us we shouldn't. It's in the game. So we just figured out how to get to the 20th level and built our philosophies on gaming around that. So like I've talked about before, 5e's kind of just like easy mode. So anyway, it's 10 o'clock here in Seattle. My timer hasn't pinged yet, but it's a few minutes to go. So I think I'm going to go ahead and cut this here. I'm pretty happy with how this Revenant's coming along. He's looking pretty fucking dope, to be honest. But I'm going to have to cut out stream for the day. It's time for me to go to bed to get some Z's so I can get up in the morning and do some more Spelljammer art. And once the Spelljammer book is done, this becomes our morning project. So Monday through Friday, we'll be doing Eberron art, and then on Monday, Thursday nights, we'll probably be doing we'll maybe like doing martial powers, or maybe like spell point sorcerers, or we have some campaigns that we have to build for my home table as well as for the martial powers playtesting. So we got other things to do, but I'm liking this guy. He's looking pretty fucking hoss. Thanks, Free. Yes, you will, my guy. Cool, glad to hear it. All right, I'm outie. I'll be back in about 8.5 hours ish, maybe a little earlier, hopefully. But anyway, out of here for now, guys. See you on the other side.